Hello, this is Ben from Wave. How's it going? Today we're going to take a look at 4 cryptos that I think are the most well-known in the industry. They might not be, and I'm pretty sure they're not the most capitalized. I think Binance should be higher than at least Polkadot. But anyways, we're going to take a look at them, see the different scenarios for each one of them, starting with Bitcoin. And I just chose these coins as I thought many of you guys could have them in your own portfolio. I personally can say that I have them as well. Obviously, these are not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so my ideas are my own and do not constitute financial advice in any ways. So always do your own research and ask your financial advisor if you want to be purchasing these instruments, securities. But other than that, we're going to take a look using the Elliott theory as always at these coins and see what's happening and what could be happening. So with Bitcoin, so I have 3 different scenarios. One of them I'm going to say, I've thought about it before, but I'm just showing it now as I saw it from another YouTuber. I'm not going to say his name, but if you're interested, probably you see his video. So if there's going to be any comments, I'm not as famous as him. I really enjoyed his work, but so you're not going to say, oh, he still is his idea. Well, we're all doing the same thing. We're all thinking about the same stuff. I thought about it. I never presented it to you, but he's done a magnificent job, which I love. I think that video deserves much more views than he got, because he's done a tremendous amount of work, and it's everything is precise and well thought as well as correct. So let's start with that. So it's the one that I called super extension. Long story short, I'll make it very short. Basically, there's the idea, and it makes sense that we are having an extension within. So basically, a 1-2, 1-2, a nest. 1 and 2, this being the largest correction ever. And then again, 1 and 2, this being the second largest. And again, 1 with the top in November of 2021, and 2. So far, this correction, this wave 2 of intermediate degree, red one, if we measure it, it is roughly 217 days in terms of time. This other correction is 357, and the largest is 630, which obviously, as we know, as I've always said, will always say, correction of the same degree will tend towards equality in both time or magnitude. So if we're expecting, let's say, if we're placing this as 1, 2, 3, 4, then something is odd, because they should tend towards equality. So that's a plausible count in my opinion. It makes sense. It also makes sense because if we think about Bitcoin as we were thinking about any other tech stocks, such as Apple, for instance, which at the beginning of its let's call it career, even though that may not be the most suitable word, it was obviously as well known as today, as famous as today, as trusted as it is today. So if we put things into perspective, we can imagine that actually, if Bitcoin proves to be a tool used for good, which obviously that in my opinion, this is my opinion, it's the only thing that needs to be adjusted. Obviously can be a very interesting and useful tool for the future. So if we put things into that perspective, we can see that this count actually makes sense. Obviously, another Elliott ideas behind this is that there's the rule of alternation. Now, I know that some politicians don't take it as a rule, more of a guideline. Elliott says it's a rule. So if he called it rule of alternation, he could have called it the guideline of alternation, such as he made many other guidelines. within the Elliott theory, but he called it the rule. So if it is a rule, it is a rule. And this wave 2 does not alter. I mean, it looks the same at this correction. So how can they be two different, let's say wave 2 and 4, of the same degree if they look the same? So that's another hint that suggests that this count could be correct. Now we're just going to investigate on lower time frames on what could be happening in the short-term future. So again, assuming this could be the right count, if we just focus on the correction, I've always said it, identified this as 3 waves. So that would be minute ABC. So down in 3, which obviously, if this is the top, down in 3 is let's say a good sign if we are being bullish. Up in 3, A, B, C. And then I would say 1, 2. This being the largest. I think we could be in wave 3 could be completed. I think we're in wave 4, and then we have one last push lower, and at that point we could resume higher. Now, if we're paying attention to it, we are the 38.2% fib retracement of the entire move up from 2018, right now being resistance. So perhaps that could bring prices lower, but at that point I would expect an upside thrust. So again, I'm trying to make it very short as we have many things to go over today. So that's what I call the super extension. Now let's get back to the weekly. I have the extended third. So 1, 2. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we could be into this wave 4. Now again, on the other hand, we have basically it goes against everything I just said, everything I just mentioned. This wave 2 is in terms of magnitude, if we measure it, this is a $30, but it's 93% because we're in log scale, and this is $1,000, but it's 86%. So if we were to take into consideration net percentage retracement, then this would be larger. So we could identify it as a high degree wave move. And this wave 2 alternating with this wave 4, this has taken a bit more than this wave 4. So in a way, you could call that alternation. Now, what's not ideal is that wave 3 isn't the longest. Now, we know wave 3 many times is the longest, but it doesn't have to be the shortest. As long as it's not the shortest, it's fine. Matter of fact, at the times of when Elliott was writing the wave theory, so at the time of these studies, early, obviously he published it in 1938. So before that, he stated that many times wave 5 was extended one. Now, obviously, he did his studies mostly in the Dow, both industrials and transportation. But he said it. So again, wave 3, as long as it's not the short, it's fine. And at that point, we could be into a sideways wave 4, which could take some time, alternating with wave 2 at the same degree. In addition to that, if we think about it, if I think about it, if I think about specifically my count with the indices, with the American indices, the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Dow, I'm expecting downside, and I'm taking into consideration the possibility of a sideways move in the next 2 to 5 years. And this would actually make sense if Bitcoin behaves just like an equity. So again, there's evidence in favor and against all counts. It's hard to say which one is going to be the right one, but I guess we just, as traders, we just need to take it one step at a time. So mainly this idea of the extended third. Now, it has not reached 1.618 times the length of wave 1, but it has passed equality. So not ideal, but not even shorter than 1. So it's really, I guess that's when the subjectivity of Elliott wave comes in. But in a way, we are given, at least I am given some reasons why I marked up each and every count. So if we move on to the last one for Bitcoin, again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and basically it's very similar to the previous one, but we have wave 4 not completed yet. And I stick to the possibility, I'm going to take you to the daily to look at these. I stick to the possibility that we have a wave 4 position, pairing up to this wave 2, and that's be a complex correction, which could be nearly completed, or just like the super extension scenario, one last push lower and then upside. So long story short, these are what I see for Bitcoin for the future. Bitcoin is also the one that has the most counts, because obviously it's the one that we have more data to work with, and obviously that creates different scenarios. Now, with that being said, let's move on to Ethereum. It's gonna be the second one for today. So Ethereum, let's see, I think I have just one count, just one main count. You can actually have two. I'll show you in just a second. So 1 and 2, I think we'll agree this is the largest correction. So that most likely is 1 degree of structure being completed, 1, 2. And now we could be on for wave 3 of primary degree. Now the question is, and that's what I'm asking myself, is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1 of this wave 3? Or do we have 1, 2, 3, tiny 4, up in 5 for 1, ABC for 2, and crazy upside, which would make sense if we were to think about the Bitcoin super extension count. Yes, once again, we need to take it one step at a time. It's quite pointless to try to predict the market in such a perfect way. But obviously, we need to be prepared for whatever it's going to happen. Which one is it going to be? I don't know. Again, if we are looking long term, most likely we'll see upside. Unless everything is a big scam and this is just wave A, B, C, and then we crash. Possible. Maybe not probable, but it's possible. So again, this is what I see for Ethereum. And let's move on to Solana. So with Solana, I've got to say, ignore this bar. Ignore it. So if we were to ignore that, then the only count I could come up with is 1, 2, 3, 4, sharp 4 compared to this 2. This 2 is more time consuming, which is fine. Most likely is wave 4. It was wave 2 in this occasion. And then a nice 5 ways up into wave 5. Here we could have down in A, up in B, and down for wave C. If we look for equality of C and A, that has been met. And right now it's acting as resistance. As you can see, it's a bit hidden by the ticker. Oh, that's annoying. My apologies, but there's not much I can do. The only thing is that if this was wave C, obviously we have to see 5 waves. I see 3 so far, and it's not a nice looking wave 3. Let me label it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be minute. So it's not a nice looking wave 3. That's for sure. So my only thought at the moment is if this is going to turn into a diagonal, which is possible, but we need to see downside soon. Alternatively, I would say, what if we were to go much lower? There's wave 1, and we're going up for B. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I guess it's possible. Again, as long as we can identify 5 ways up here, then despite of what's going to happen, we will get 5 more waves to the upside. So in a long-term perspective, there's no reason to panic. But I guess discounts should be left open. So we should be open to the possibility that it's possible. And last but not least, we have Polkadot. And this was a tricky count. It was quite annoying. So in order to count 1 and 2, I had to place wave 2 here. This would be a sharp A, sideways B, so a flat A, running flat, not an expanded flat, which is not something you see quite often, but that's how I could fit 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it shows on the 4 hour, does it? 1, 2. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's check wave 3 is not the shortest. And it's not. So it's fine. Not really an extension in any of these waves. Maybe you could say wave 5 could be the longest. Looks like the longest. But not a real extension, which it's not ideal. But yet, again, it was a tricky count. So my apologies. I'm not saying it's going to be correct, but I did my best. These things are quite tricky. And then triangle in 4. So it alternates. Technically, this took much less time than this wave 2. This wave 2 took 86 days, whereas this wave 4 took 41. So half of it. It alternates in time, which is nice. 5 waves down in A, 3 waves up in B. 5 waves down for wave C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This I see as a 3-wave move. Up in A, triangle in B, and up for C. And this I see as also some kind of, so I see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No overlapping, 4 and 1. 1 and 2, A, B, C. 3, 4. And now we have a big question on what's going to happen. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like we're going to get upside. We may, but it should be corrective. So I would expect this low to be broken, but either way, I would expect upside on basically obviously all cryptos as they like to move together relatively soon. Could be a month, could be 2, could be 3 weeks, I don't know. But I do expect some upside. I don't know if that upside is going to bring us to all-time high. That I do not know. And I wouldn't bet on it, personally. But a bounce could come. So that was it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a nice roundup. I thought that it could be helpful if you guys hold this cryptos in your portfolio and you were asking yourself what is happening. So hope you enjoyed it. As always, all I ask is please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments what you think about the counts, and if you have anything you would like to add. And obviously, if you're new to the channel, subscribe if you don't want to miss out the next updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.